Hi there, everybody. Here we are back on a Monday. If you're new, very welcome. If you are returning, thank you very much and welcome back. I appreciate every one of you, whoever is here, to take the time to listen to what I've got to say for the week. All right, so what we do here, if you are new, is we do a reading for the week ahead to see what's coming up for us. What kind of energies are we dealing with? What kind of potential obstacles are we dealing with? What opportunities are presenting themselves? And this week I've decided to use all my very mystical kind of decks. I'm using Carl Gray's Angels and Ancestors. I'm using the Gaia Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno, and the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. Okay, so everything very spiritual and mystical. I feel like there's such a connection to that kind of thing, and us being encouraged to, get back in touch with the earth and spend more time outdoors and be more receptive than we are just putting things out there, and being a bit more mindful of what we're doing, and just remembering who we are and where we come from, and that we are these biological beings as well. We get very sucked into the physical 3D, and then we just kind of lose sight of things. So I've really noticed that a lot of the very indigenous kind of energies are coming up, a lot of dealing and hearing about shamanic work. So I thought, this is what we need to do today, and let's see what comes up for us. I will pull out the tarot if I feel it's necessary, or if I want to clarify something, but let's see what comes up. I'm going to do the Angels and Ancestors first. And what I usually ask is, what do we need to know most importantly right now? What are the messages for the week ahead? Can I please see what... Okay, I'm being told to take the card at the bottom of the deck, which is She-Wolf, Unleash the Wild Within. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like getting in touch with that inner, almost animalistic, instinctual kind of energy. And we've got this beautiful full moon behind her. We have full moon on Thursday for the full moon in Capricorn. And as much as full moon in Capricorn is very much associated with the physical 3D and money and entrepreneurial energy and all of this kind of thing, it's also about perseverance and strength. And we get that strength from within. All right, we don't just achieve things without tapping into that inner strength. So I feel like that's very important. And it's about getting in touch with who you truly are, being more in touch with nature, being more in touch with your true essence and your true nature. So if you're not doing that, this is encouraging you to do so, and to maybe just go out in the garden. You don't have to go and do a whole retreat or anything like that. But we definitely have to get more in touch with nature and look out for signs as well, like feathers and things like that. I feel like there might be signs coming through from past loved ones or something of the sort, and they can often come through by leaving us feathers or birds. Cardinals are very famous for being a bird that shows up when somebody that is a past loved one is trying to contact us. And also I feel like animal spirits, like spirit guides, are very prevalent now too. And that sounds very deep, and some people think, oh, that's very woohoo. But when it comes to like shamanic work and this kind of thing, it's very important. You are guided by certain animal spirits, and they come through as symbols. They are archetypes for things. And it doesn't have to be that you're the wolf is your spirit animal or anything like that. But we can often see signs, like we could see, and I've mentioned this before, you could see something on TV, hear something on the radio that's an article about a particular animal. Then you can see someone with a bumper sticker in front of you that has this animal on it. If it repeats 3 or more times, usually it will catch your attention. And if it catches your attention, there's a good reason for it. Okay, so it's worth looking into maybe what that animal is trying to teach us. What are the characteristics of that animal? I listened to something last night that was about an owl, which is something that has been coming to me over and over and over. And I've actually got an owl that's decided to sit outside my home every night recently, which I love. And I sit and listen to it hoot outside. And I was reminded of all its attributes, that the owl is stealthy and doesn't always want to be seen. They can see in the dark things that other people can't see. So it was about seeing things that are beneath the surface and are perhaps hidden from us, and that they are very wise, and they don't act without precision, not just doing things haphazardly. So look at the attributes of animals that might be presenting themselves to you now, so you can kind of figure out what it may be trying to tell you. Okay, so let us continue. What else do we need to know that's most important this week, please? What energies are coming through for us? What do we need to pay attention to? Earth Guardian, there we go. Stay rooted and grounded. All right, in some cases, we do just need to do some grounding, and grounding is pretty easy. What you need to do is, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere now and it's summer, go outside barefoot, stand on some soil. Soil has ions in it that can literally ground us. It actually interacts with our bodies. You can look it up. It's a scientific fact. And touching the earth or sitting on the grass or just being outside for a while can really just balance your energies out. If you're feeling all up in the air, if you're feeling scattered, especially your emotions and, your mental state, you're feeling a bit scattered, this is the thing to do. This is stay rooted and grounded. I feel like it might be difficult to do lately. There's so much going on in the world. There's a lot going on in people's personal lives at the moment. Last week we got the death card twice, and there were certainly symbolic deaths for certain people in certain ways. Even for very new clients that I had, they were going through that as I met them. And in some instances, it really happened in beautiful ways. In some instances, that symbolic death was not a traumatic thing. It was things falling away that were just heavy, and we didn't need to carry with us anymore. So it was quite a beautiful thing. And I do think that energy is still continuing, but we'll see what comes up in this reading today as well. Some more feathers, but I think that's part and parcel of this deck of cards. It's very likely. There we go. I'm not even kidding. Look at what the other card is. Okay, so definitely some people are going to be seeing feathers. You are not alone. Guardian angels. So in times of trouble, they're trying to let you know that they are there. Okay, you are supported. You're not alone. You're probably going to find some feathers, or you're going to see something about birds, or you're going to have that animal repeating and trying to get your attention. I don't want to say go out and look for it, because I also don't think that's the most balanced way to do it. But be present. When you're driving down the road, don't just focus on the road and the people that you're irritated with in the other cars. Look at what you see around you. Do you see birds? Do you see the trees? Or do you just rush from A to B every day and forget that you even have this beautiful world around you? Maybe you are in the city, but you'd probably still see trees. You'd probably still see birds, even if they are just little city pigeons, But try to notice those things. What does the sky look like today? Is there anything unusual or beautiful you can see? Do you drive past a park? Widen your scope. Don't have tunnel vision and only see what's going on around you in your immediate environment that potentially could aggravate you even, because that kind of energy is just like disruptive, not so nice energy. Okay, anything else from this deck, please, for us this week? This is exactly the energy I was feeling. High Priest, intend and create. Okay, so now they want you to get in touch with yourself. It says here, unleash your wild within. What do you really want? What do you feel is driving you? What makes you feel purposeful? What do you feel compelled to do in your life? Not just, what you have to do every day. Are you doing something that is passionate? Are you doing something that's creative, that you enjoy doing in your own spare time? Are you making the time for that? And then it says stay rooted and grounded, so you can balance that energy. Maybe you do need to sit outside and paint or do some pottery or write a book or read a book or whatever it might be. And it's saying, remember that you're not alone. Connect yourself to spirit again. And then it says intend and create. This is literally about setting intentions. And like I said, it's the full moon in Capricorn on Thursday. So this is a time to set intentions. All right, whether someone like me does it on your behalf, whether you do it yourself, you can go out and do a little thing for yourself. Just sit outside and set intentions, look up at the moon, light a candle for yourself, whatever you want to do. But this is saying be intentional, set intentions, intend and create. When we set intentions and we set them from the heart, that is when we have the potential to create. And it's saying, remember that you have the power to do this. And I'm sure there are quite a few birds in this particular deck of cards, but I mean, this is really about birds and feathers, birds and feathers. Every single one has had. This woman's headdress has got feathers in it. He's covered in feathers. There's a feather. And here again, we have these feathers coming up with this like Egyptian depiction of this hawk. Perhaps some of you are seeing a hawk. Okay, but this is reminding you to get into that energy, to connect with nature. Listen for the birds, listen for the hawks if you hear them, or the owls, or whatever the case is, and know that it's not necessarily a bad omen. Okay, some people are scared of crows, they're scared of owls. It's all what certain people, you know, belief systems that certain people have instilled in us. But maybe that one's just there to draw your attention to something, or to just draw your attention to nature. Okay, I think there might be one more card. Is there anything else from this deck, please? There it is. Lord, take charge with authority. Okay. I feel like this is like take charge of your own life. Tap into that fiery primal energy, like the she-wolf energy, you know, unleash the wild within. Take charge, set intentions. It's like, don't just be blown around in the wind and feel like, oh, well, life is the way it is and I must just go with whatever happens and I've got no control over my life. A lot of people get into that place of the wrong kind of surrender. You know, there is surrender to whatever spirit wants to bring into your life, or to a situation where we know that it's futile to be upset about it, or futile to try and argue something, or we do know that something is happening that is for our greater good, then you surrender to it. But this is a different type of surrender. You know, if we just surrender and say, oh, well, whatever, I'm just going to let life do whatever it wants with me, and I'm not going to do anything that is intentional, or that I'm actually trying to have a bit of control over. You know, you need that balance, because sometimes we try and control everything. And then other times we're just like, ugh, whatever, I'm just going to go day by day, mindlessly, you know, kind of trudging through life. We need to find that balance. We need to know when it's time to take control. And here we've got this Aries energy as well. There's these two rams behind him. So I would imagine this is an indication of like a fire sign or an Aries sign. It doesn't mean that anybody has to be Aries in this particular energy. But I feel as if this is to say to you, tap into that inner fire that you have. All right, this is a time to direct your energy, to be in charge of it and mindful of it, and have that intention so that you can create. It doesn't happen by you just being blown around willy-nilly and just thinking, oh, well, whatever, you know. It's about setting these intentions and just being so mindful of what you're doing at the moment so that you can have good results. These are all very positive cards. It's not warning of anything terrible and detrimental here, you know, which I think is really lovely. Okay, is there anything else from this deck, please? I think we might be done. I could be wrong. No, we're done. Okay, thank you. Now we're going to use the Gaia Oracle. Let's see what comes up there. One more shuffle. Okay. All right. Sometimes these will kind of match up with the cards that I already have, but let's see what comes up. What do we need from this deck, please? There we go. The Temptress, seduction, deceit, or a broken promise. Okay, this is the first kind of negative one that we've got here. I feel like this is also about like tap into your instincts. It's like you might already know that something funny is going on here. Seduction, deceit, or a broken promise. And remember, seduction can also be an offer that seems too good to be true, or something that's very tempting and you know that it's really not right for you. And I feel like this could relate to family. I know that's really weird. But the first thing that I noticed here is like this DNA strand that's here. This looks like a DNA strand to me. So this was saying this could be family. And obviously family could be your wife, it could be your husband, it could be a child that's not telling you the truth, whatever the case might be here. And I feel like it's really going to pull on your heartstrings. It's like somebody's somebody hasn't kept their word, or they're trying to keep something from you, or they like yeah, it's almost like they're doing something behind your back or something of the sort. I don't think this is before I say that, I was going to say I don't think this is like super serious, but it's just like a bit of a disappointment maybe. Can you tell me more about this, please? What else do I need to know here? Thank you. The Sacred Mother, a message of love. Eternal dance, movement, the wheel of life, path of least resistance, and peace. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about. This doesn't feel like it's a make or break terrible thing. You know, it's not going to end up in a divorce, or you necessarily kicking your kid out of the house, or whatever the case is. This is about needing to get something out in the open, that something needs to be revealed. So, for instance, the analogy that's coming to me here is like, for instance, if your brother or sister comes to you and says, hey, I've got this great business idea, I think that we should get involved in this, we're going to need to do this and that, and the next thing, this is what it entails, and you like maybe getting a half truth, or you being wrapped into it because it would benefit them, but it wouldn't necessarily benefit you. It feels like it's something is like this. And Sacred Mother, I feel like could potentially, it could be like a kid that says, Mom, I want to open a business, can you give me the money for this? And maybe they're using the money for something else, or they're asking you for more money than they need, and you find out that it's more than that, you know. But it's something that can be sorted out, because when I see here, it says a message of love, and it says movement, wheel of life, the path of least resistance. So I feel as if there's this potential here to sort it out without having to struggle and make things worse. Like, I think it can be sorted out quite easily, and I think you need to look for peace in the situation. The peace card says, dissolving unwanted or disturbing thoughts. Okay, so I feel like whenever this reveals itself, or you find yourself in the situation, don't let your mind run away with you and say, oh, well, this person, this and that, and what else have they done? And, you know, they could have betrayed me in other ways, and what else are they lying about? Or I feel like there's a warning here to not let your thoughts run away with you, and not overthink it too much to the point where you're making up stories that aren't true. I actually wrote down some inspiration for myself last week that said, bring peace where you can. I've actually written it down here. It was on the 4th of July. Bring peace where you can. And I think that's important, because I think there's a lot of volatile energy around us at the moment. And again, it's saying being intentional about what we're doing, the intentions that we're setting. Are you intending to, if this is a family member, never speak to them again, cause a rift in the family? Is it worth it? Can you forgive? Can you find a way to find peace? Maybe this person's really caught in the brambles, you know, and this is why they're doing it. People do desperate things when they need money, or they've maybe not working, or they think that they're in trouble. You know, this person could be in trouble because they owe somebody money or something along these lines, and they're coming up with a story of an opportunity or something. That's where this temptation really stood out to me. Seduction, sorry. Yeah. Seduction, deceit, and a broken promise. Maybe, you know, it could be anything. It could be a family member who has a problem with addiction, and they've told you that they're not going to do this anymore. And you find out that they've gone back to that drug, or they're drinking again, or whatever the case might be. You know, gambling could be a thing. But it's asking for you to try and find peace and be loving. And I feel like you need to kind of help this person untangle themselves from whatever it is that they might be in. It might just be an emotional thing. It might just be a little, you know, a really difficult situation they got into, but they feel the need to maybe be deceitful about it, and it's going to really hurt. So I feel like we need to take a nurturing approach and a forgiving approach, and we need to seek peace. That's what's going to be the solution. All right, that might be a completely separate situation just for a couple of people in this collective. Is there anything else, please, from this deck? Thank you. achievement. Keep focused on your dreams. Okay, I feel like that's completely separate situation, but it can tie into this because it's reminding you to keep focused, intend, and create. What do you intend here? Do you intend to create discord and separation, or do you intend to create peace? So it all ties back into it, but I feel like someone needed to hear about this particular situation here. All right, so this one says achievement. Keep focused on your dream. Whatever that is, don't let that drama also deter you from that, okay? Don't let that deter you from whatever it is that you're working on, whatever is opening up for you. Keep focused on your dream. Healing. Reconnect with your true nature. There it is again. Okay, that was just standing up, staring at me. There's so much healing that can happen here. Stay rooted and grounded. Reconnect with your true nature. Be honest with yourself. Are you doing what you really want to do in your life? That could be in your job, in your routine that you have at home. Are you not doing your hobbies that you love anymore? What is it that maybe is out of balance that you could bring back into balance in your life? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Anything else from this deck, please? Sorry, it's a bit skew. Let's start again. Anything else from this deck, please? Thank you. Thinking of you. A loving thought and serendipity. Look how similar these are. It says thinking of you, a loving thought and serendipity. There's so much potential for wonderful things to come from the situations we're in. And I feel like really it's our intention and how we react to it that's going to be the deciding factor here. Is your intention to, is your intention to heal or is your intention to harm? It says here, take charge with authority. But this guy still has this kind of gentleness about him. He's got this strong, fiery energy. He's not going to be pushed around. Take charge with authority. If there is this situation happening with maybe a family member or a friend or somebody that you care for, even if it's hurtful, you can say, I forgive you and I will help you, but this will not happen again. You have the right to do that. You also have to draw your own boundaries. A loving thought and serendipity. I feel as if with that situation as well, or any situation, if we deal with it from a place of love, if our intention is to solve the situation, to bring healing to the situation, to forgive, like I said, bring peace where you can. If we can do that, we might have very different results than if we just try and push that situation away from us or push that person away from us. We might be very happy with the results and think, thank goodness that I dealt with it from a place of peace. Thank goodness that I decided to take that action, that was my intention, because this now has brought the serendipity where I'm not alone. Spirit will help me to solve this problem. Deal with it from a loving place with loving thoughts, and that is what's going to bring a more positive environment. Okay, let's see what else. Anything else from this deck, please? No. Okay. So now we have the Spirit Animal Oracle. Let's see what this has got for us. No doubt some spirit animals. So maybe this is going to potentially highlight some that somebody might be seeing in particular this week. Let's see what comes up. Okay, what do we need from this deck this week, please? What do we need to know? Okay, we got the pig and the ants. The last time I used this this deck of cards, actually. So the first one is Truth Transcends Illusion. Okay, this is what I was talking about when there is that energy of seduction or this this painful or deceptive kind of situation. This is about navigating through it. All right, this is about transcending that. Truth transcends illusion. You just got to get down to the bottom of it, and you be as honest as you can as well. You know, the truth will set you free. If we never lie, we never have to remember anything. And if someone has been dishonest, then the truth is going to be revealed, and you work with it from there, and you say, okay, now that the truth's out there, let's see what we can do about it. How do we navigate this? I have huge admiration for dragonflies. They are the most successful hunters in nature. They are the most formidable adversaries when it comes to hunting for prey. They are the most agile of all like flying creatures. If they were bigger and allowed to really grow to their full size and full potential, they'd be quite dangerous. All of their wings work independently. They can hover in every direction. They're the best flyers that there are in nature, and they can navigate and move swiftly, and they are just so calculated and perfectly designed in every way. They're quite fascinating. If you're into nature, go and watch something about the dragonfly. It will blow your mind. They are really it just brings you back to how in awe you can be about nature at some point. You know, that it's like the way that this tiny little creature is engineered, and what a formidable adversary it is, and the agility with which it moves through life. And we just look at it and think, dragonfly. You know, this is exactly that reminder to pay more attention to the intricacies and all the beautiful details in nature that we forget about. We get so sucked into life that we don't even realize that this is a thing. You know, we don't realize how awesome literally this little creature is, and we're only thinking of ourselves and what we're doing for that day and how much money we're making. And you know, it reminds us again to just get back into that. And that's a side note, obviously, but I feel like these kind of things are what bring us back into balance. Maybe go watch a David Attenborough film, you know, go watch a nature video or something. Video, you can tell how old I am there. Just bring you back to life, you know, bring you back to reality and where you live and what you're doing and how you fit into the bigger picture of things. I think that's a very important message here. And truth transcends illusion. Often when we do ground ourselves a bit, things become a lot clearer. Even with this situation, if someone's going through that, go outside, sit in the garden for a while, clear your head, be receptive. Spirit will give you the answer of how to solve the situation. Okay, use your mind wisely. There's the little piggy we had, I think 2 weeks ago or so. Excuse me. Use your mind wisely. There again, it's about being intentional. Intend and create. This is all about balance as well. I'm seeing many cards here that add up to the number 11. 9, 10, 11, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You know, there's I've seen quite a few here that are just balance, balance, balance. That's what needs to happen. Deal with things and arguments and difficult situations in a balanced way as well. Here's a number 1. Time to collaborate. Okay. Maybe you do need to work with this person in some way. What else can you tell me more about this? Sorry, I just realized that's not in view. Please tell me more about this time to collaborate. Set healthy boundaries. Okay, so it's reiterating all the time, and I felt the need to put on top of this card of the Lord. Take charge with authority. Time to collaborate and set healthy boundaries. So I feel like you could be working with somebody or creating something or starting something new. This is a number 1, so it shows new beginnings or fresh starts. Something's about to begin, or it's in its beginning stages. And it's like, I almost feel like you see these 3 puzzle pieces, there's a missing piece. So maybe there is someone that you need to collaborate with, or someone you could work with. Maybe you need someone to mediate when you're dealing with a difficult situation. But it's like there's somebody that you can work with that is kind of the missing piece for what you're looking for. Set healthy boundaries. Make sure that you go in with a strong intention. And this is not about bullying. It's not about being egotistical and bombastic. It's about take charge with authority. Just have your boundaries. I will and will not do this. And within reason too, you know, it's not about pushing or being in charge or anything like that. Set healthy boundaries. Take charge with authority. Time to collaborate. We need to find that balance, because we can't collaborate if we're just bullying. You know, we don't want to be that person. But we do need to somehow make sure that we protect ourselves. Like if we're going to give someone a second chance in business or something, we need to have our armor on, and we need to say, okay, I will do this, but then you first show me that you're going to keep your word, or something along those lines. Obviously it will, you'll know what to do and how to navigate it. Truth transcends illusion. Don't forget that. This dragonfly is a master strategist, and that's what you kind of need to be doing here, I think. Okay, anything else, please, that we need to know from this deck? Snake spirit, time to heal. Okay, this healing is coming up all the time. Maybe you even need to work with somebody that is, you know, in health or healing. Maybe that is what this person who feels like they're all tied up in knots and had to tell a lie or had to be deceptive, maybe they can help this person. Maybe they just need something to calm their nerves. Time to heal. We're actually in the year of the snake, and it's about transformation. It's about shedding old things, and I think that really needs to be one of our main focuses at this time. You know, this healing, this letting go of dead wood, of old energies, of old mindsets and belief systems, and holding on to grudges and all the things that don't serve us. When we hold on to a grudge, we're not hurting anybody. That person's probably forgotten about it, and we're still holding on to it, and it's only hurting us. And that's easier said than done, but it's really something that you need to make a concerted effort to change. Time to heal. I love that. That follows on from the 2 death cards that we had last week, and I feel like we're still in that energy. Maybe the change that you need and the healing you need is to take more charge in your life. Maybe it is to be more authoritative. Maybe it is to have those healthy boundaries. Maybe it is to make peace with certain things and people, because it's only harming you. Okay? And you will be helped with this. You're not alone. Stay rooted and grounded. Intend and create. Be more authentically yourself. Don't apologize for that. The more we are closer to our true nature, the more things gravitate to us, the more the right people gravitate to us, and the wrong people in the wrong situations move out of our lives. Reconnect with your true nature. Keep focused on your dream. Truth transcends illusion. Be true to yourself. You know, it's just all about being real and always being honest. If the truth hurts, it hurts. Rather be honest with somebody. And obviously you can say things that are honest in a good way, you know, in a positive way, in a kind way. You don't have to say, you know, I think you're an asshole. You can say to somebody, you know, sometimes I think that you can come across a bit strong, and maybe that's misinterpreted sometimes. What do you actually mean by that? Can you take a different approach perhaps, so that we can, instead of fighting every time, maybe come to a more constructive conclusion to the situation? There are ways and means that we can deal with things from a loving perspective, and that will be, that will dictate the response you get from somebody else as well. If you just say, you know what, sometimes you're a real asshole, what is that going to create? That's going to just, you know, make that person retaliate more. And sometimes they are just, that it is what it is. And sometimes people do need to be told, and you need to set a healthy boundary. But make sure that when you have these conversations, you are grounded. Make sure that you've said to Spirit, you know, help me with this situation, please. I would like to know how best to deal with it, how best to be balanced. Please guide my words when I speak to this person, so I can try and resolve the situation. We forget that we can tap into that resource. Okay. I have to take the bottom of the deck, and we've had this one. I think he came up also the last week or the week before. the panther. Again, it's about strategy. It's about sitting quietly, just like this animal does. It's not about stalking somebody, but it's about being observant, being still, moving when the time is right. You know, all of the, again, strategy and power. Reclaim your power. But this is a number 8 as well. It's 2 4s. And this is about this power of spirit that can often be there to help us, to give us strength. And that's inner strength. It's not about outwardly being strong and bullying somebody or punching them because we've had enough of them. It's about having inner strength. And that inner strength is what can bring in that strategy, that negotiation to get to a place where we can find peace. Okay. They're solitary, peaceful animals until somebody starts with them, and then they have to establish their authority. But in their own right, they were always strong, and they were always authoritative, and they are always powerful. But they use it when it's needed, in a balanced way. Okay. Anything else? I feel like there might be one last card for us. Is there anything else? Any last messages, please? And remember, you might be seeing these animals around. Thank you, dear. Oh, stag spirit. Take the lead. All right, let's take the lead in your own life. Take the lead possibly in that difficult situation that you might be experiencing, where you take the initiative to try and sort that out. Start that conversation. Do it in a way that you can find peace. Look how beautiful and peaceful this animal is. It takes the lead. It leads a whole herd, if that's the right word. I've drawn a blank. But it just also, it has this beauty and this authority, and it has the ability to lead a group. So if you take it from that beautiful place where you can have that strength, but it's inner strength, then you can move mountains. Okay, I leave you with that thought, with this beautiful picture. I think it's absolutely stunning, and I wish you all a beautiful week. Sending lots of love. Bye for now.